And good morning, everyone. Welcome from KeyBank Center to Blues Game Day Live. I'm, of course, John Kelly alongside, almost forgot who I was. You're Darren Pang, and the Blues are in Buffalo, right? That's where we are, Buffalo, New York, Western New York.
You know what, John? The dad's trip has been too much on all of us. We can't even remember what our names are anymore. It's been a fun, basically 4 days, and I know the Blues want to culminate that with a win here and at least finish this two-game road swing 1-1. These are the games that are really tough games. We all know that. We've seen that this year. We've seen the Blues play against Buffalo earlier. They squeaked it by in overtime. Lost at home against Arizona that played really hard. I mean, these teams are not going to go away. They're not just going to hand you the 2 points. So I think the Blues players, they know that they want to play hard in this game, follow up what they did well against Boston, and fix some of the things they didn't do well against Boston, and then take 2 points away from Buffalo here tonight.
Yeah, the Blues, of course, losing 3-1 in Boston. The controversial goal, are you over that, or should we talk about it?
No, I couldn't sleep. Haven't been able to sleep for days. So, in fact, I've had to stay up with some of the dads and make sure that they're feeling okay, too. And with all of that, we're able to kind of massage it. So I am feeling a little bit better. The call itself is still as baffling as any call that I've seen for goaltender interference. We'll talk about that tonight on Fox Sports Midwest on the pregame show with Bernie as well and you, and we'll break it down and some of the examples around the league. But it's a 2-1 game. The empty net goal was with 1 second left. It was a hard-fought game. Jake Allen played his tail off, especially in that second period.
Yeah, well, Darren, you mentioned a bit earlier that the Sabres play the Blues tough. The Blues won 3-2 in overtime back in St. Louis. Last year, Buffalo beat the Blues, and it seems for whatever reason, the Blues and Sabres, who don't meet very often, twice a year, they have an edge to these games.
Yeah, it is interesting that Buffalo can play that way against the Blues. But I do think that teams like they gear up against the Blues. The reputation that the Blues still play this big, hard, heavy game, and some of that's true. I think they're strong on their sticks and hard on their sticks, but they're not that big team that they were a couple of years ago. But it seems like veteran players on other teams, whether they're auditioning potentially for a look, knowing they're being judged how they play against good teams. But then I watch Buffalo play against a team like Florida, and they're not nearly the same. So we'll see what we get here in tonight's game with the Sabres. But I do know that they've got a lot of really good veteran players, and they stepped up. They played hard. They played physically. They got under the skin of the Blues in that last game in St. Louis. I thought it was a pretty entertaining game.
Yeah, well, the Blues, of course, got great goaltending in Boston from Jake Allen. Carter Hutton goes tonight, and his numbers speak for themselves.
Well, yeah, Carter's been terrific on the road, and I think we've got somebody better to analyze this, to be quite honest with you, than me. I mean,
why don't we bring a special guest
Yeah,
in?
I mean, why wouldn't we just bring a dad up here?
Right.
That watches their son play hockey all the time, and he does it for a living.
Right.
Why don't we bring up Kurt?
Kurt Allen.
Yep. Kurt.
Watch the ropes and the wires here, Kurt. Yeah.
Part of the great men's fellas trip here with the guys and Kurt. I know that you and your wife, she was also at the game in Boston. Sue came all the way with 4 or 5 of her girlfriends, and you got to watch Jake play. And I guess number one, it's always so stress-filled when your son is playing. But I think maybe even more so right now. How delighted were you that he came up with such a great performance?
I was really happy for him and for the family. We all came, and his friends came, and he's been struggling a little bit yet lately. And he knew that the next time he got a chance to play, he had to play really well to get his game back. And I thought he played really well the other night. I was really happy for him.
Okay, so early on in the game, now we had a camera on the suite where and I kept thinking to myself, I'll get one so that Kurt could enjoy himself here. Get a couple of goals for his son. At what point in the game did you see? Okay, he's definitely got his game going.
Well, I know when he gets a couple of early touches, and even if it's just a dump in and stuff like that, he handles the puck and he gets those in early, and I can tell if he's comfortable or not. And after about the first 4 or 5 minutes, I could see that he was comfortable. And then when the second period came around, he was getting all the rubber that he got. I knew he was real comfortable then.
Yeah. 22 shots. That's a lot of rubber.
Yeah, there's a few breakdowns in that particular period. But, I mean, in Jake's case, I think that's what he needed.
Yeah. Kurt, obviously, I know you were on a dad's trip a couple of years ago, and there are 20 dads on this trip. What's the best part for you and the other dads about going on this 2-game road trip?
Well, to meet with the other parents is really fun. The people from Europe and places like that, it's really interesting to hear their perspective on life. The food's good. I'll never eat. I don't generally eat that good at home. I had a steak last night that I could have used for all summer. Right. 32-ounce bone-in, big steak.
Nice.
We won't tell Sue that you just said that you don't get that kind of food at home, okay?
No, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't. I say my father be back home. I don't know if you get to see this or not, but obviously he's your biggest fan. He's always talking about, say hi to Panger when you're down there or something like that. He's got your Panger bobblehead right up on by his computer.
Well, I got a chance to go there and help MC and host Jake's golf tournament, and to see the fans that the Blues have in Fredericton, New Brunswick, we should go down there and just do a weekly show. They follow the Blues. It's largely because of Jake, and you guys have really had to carry the mantle. Not many guys have gone through Fredericton and in the NHL like Jake has here. So what's it like for you guys, just having that responsibility and knowing that all eyes are always watching you?
Well, it's good. You know what I mean? Right now, obviously, it's been rough. You try to, people on the street try to, it can console you a little bit and so on, but it's tough being, like I said before, of all positions you could have been as a goaltender. Like Jack Hutton and I talked about the other night. He says, why didn't you become a defenseman? They make the mistakes. You hardly notice. They forget it 5 minutes after the game. The others you don't. But the following that Jake has in Fredericton is great. He's put a lot back in with the golf tournament and the program 34 for the young goalies and so on like that. So he's really enthralled himself in the city itself.
You know, Kurt, Jack Hutton told me the other day that when Carter plays goal, his wife can't watch the game, Carter's mom. She cleans house the entire time.
It's a clean house.
Has the rosary out. So my question to you and your family, do you guys get into superstitions like that when Jake's in goal?
I think it's the opposite of my house. I'm usually the one cleaning the house, walking around with the TV on just so I can hear it. My wife's sitting watching the TV. She watches all the games, and if I hear there's a goal or a play or something like that, I'll come out, was that a good goal or a bad goal or something like that, and then sometimes she doesn't know. So, but she watches all the games. I watch them as much as I can, but I do a lot of moving around too. TV to TV, upstairs, downstairs, one bedroom to another.
There you go. Well, we know now that Blues goaltenders, their parents have clean houses, Darren. That's a good thing.
We sure do. And they're stressed out.
Right, they're stressed out.
And they're good people. But it's nice. Last night, Jack Hutton and Rick Schwartz, Bob Edmondson, they were all saying the neat thing about doing this every year is that you don't need name tags anymore. Yeah. You know, I mean, the first time you do it, as parents, you're like, oh, and trying to put the name to the face and what have you. So has that been like more comfortable and just such an easier transition?
Well, I know them now. This is like the third father's trip plus the winter game that we had last year, so you get to see them as well. But obviously there's a few new fathers, and everybody's asking when you get on the bus, who's that? And you put your name on the phone like that, so when you see them, you'll know exactly who it is. It's a really comfortable group. It's a good group. The only one really missing is Willard Reeves. Yeah. He was always
fun, huh?
The life of the party and the fun part of it. He had lots of great stories.
Yeah,
he did from his CFL days and what have you.
Yeah. No question. No, it was a great trip. Like I'm exhausted. I don't know how they do the lifestyle that they do. I'm not out in the ice practicing and doing all that stuff, and I'm exhausted right now as well. So
try being a broadcaster.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very fatiguing. Hey, Kurt, thank you for joining us. Always great to see you, and
sure is.
Hopefully we'll see you in St. Louis before the end of the playoff run.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yep. Kurt, thanks very much, bud.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Watch on your way out, okay?
Yep. All right, that wraps up our Blues Game Day Live, and enjoy the insight from Jake Stad. And we're on the air tonight, of course, at 5:30 St. Louis time on Fox Sports Midwest. Yep. The game itself at 7, and of course 7 o'clock local time, 6 St. Louis time. See, I told you I'm tired. Yep. And also on KMOX, of course, with Chris Kerber and Kelly Chase.
You got that right, and we're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to putting a bow on this trip. And and really, there's a lot of little side stories as well. I think Jaden Schwartz scoring that goal in the last game was good for his confidence as well, coming off that injury and getting his timing right. So he and Braden Shen are so magic to watch together. So I don't know who's going to be on that right wing. Mike Yeo really switched it up the last game. He had Steen, he had Tarasenko. I think he had maybe Tage Thompson for a shift or two. So we'll be interested to see, because yesterday was not a full skate.
All right, good job, Darren.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, we'll see you tonight on TV from Buffalo, New York, the Blues and Sabres.